Man, these DA stages are brutal, huh? Yeah. Like, they've been making these shield buffs that are just too much for me. Hey, don't worry, brother. I got a way to help you, take the edge off. Oh, yeah? How? As per requested from many of you here on YouTube and even with chat over on the Twitch live streams, my name is Josh and we're here to start breaking down these new Deadly Assault stages. The one thing to note about this Deadly Assault going into November of the Big 2-5 is that we're starting with 3 Miasma bosses, yet each boss is meant to highlight a certain offensive class. The new boss with the 2.3 update is quite the rupture pusher, yet some certain attack units can thrive with the right conditions. The second boss is our anomaly pushing Miasmic Fiend, who more specifically loves to highlight physical and ether units. And lastly, we have the dreaded Defiler, who actually is much more of an obtainable boss than most people give credit for. Yet amongst the many rightful claims about DA being quite the specific game mode catering towards the current on-banner content, how can we approach these stages to find you success? Well, today we'll be showing you how these bosses work, what are their weaknesses, and give you some fun ideas on how to approach these stages to find yourself 9 stars. Let's start the ball rolling with the new Miasma Rupture boss, the Miasma Hunter. This boss has a miasmic gimmick that has you utilizing the story-based mechanic called the perception technique in order to find the hunter as he hides above the stage. Find the correct one and he'll prompt you with a yellow assist flash that will allow you to easily defensive assist his attack. If not, you'll get a faster off-timed attack that's best to dodge. I'm getting ahead of myself, let's start at the bigger hurdle, and that's the boss's heightened defense. Yup, if you thought that the anomaly resist on Defiler was bad, here we just have a straight up 40% defense increase when he's in a miasmic field. There is no real way to counter this. If you're not a rupture unit, your attacker scores will be lower because you'll be in the miasma phase longer, unless you have some ways to shred defense. In the showcase, I currently run one of the more premium options, barring yidhari, which is the showcase that will come after on our full guide to the Octomami. So subscribe right now if you guys would like to learn more about yidhari, as well as how she can actually double ult and stun. But back to the hunter, the first phase of the hunter is actually quite easy to get to. It does take a little of RNG as a few of his attacks are ranged, which in the C server I never really had to deal with. But maybe it's just my RNG coming in poor that I've had to deal with more of these ranged lasers and pools of miasma than usual. But beware, as these attacks will slowly eat away at your HP if you're not careful. So making sure that we reach the stun before the 2-minute period is imperative, as the hunter will automatically start swinging into the miasma field phase. This is called the hide and seek, where he'll jump out of the field and hide. Use the perception technique on the glowing bulb and you'll bring him back. Throughout the fight, the ruptures have all the more to gain, as with assist follow-ups and dodge counters, you can gain a 15-second stack of wavering. This will grant 7% sheer force damage bonus per stack, which is a bit ridiculous, but I don't mix the rules. You should exit the miasma phase and into the second stun with more than 50 seconds left if you would like to build up to a final strong third stun window, barring if you have a double stun comp, which that could be pushing 4 stun windows if planned for correctly. Then just remember to try to stack as many wavering stacks as possible before entering into your stun, which realistically on Monotoad can be managed fully. So just try your best and don't need to force out defensive or dodge assists if you don't need to. If you're running a Jshoea or something of the higher premium end, best to just stick to your line of attacks and deal as much as possible. Here's a few highlights of my premium run with yidhari, Lucia, and Jufufu, and even Monotoad with Panyinhu and Pokra. These teams are of course rupture based, but if you have strong performing attacker teams such as with Ellen Joe or Devlin, this boss is also doable. But once you neutralize the the neglected old man, you're ready to take on the Miasmic Fiend yet again. This boss should come as no surprise to most folk. We've already had multiple rotations with this character, and you should have developed a line for this boss already. But for those who haven't, let's review what the Miasmic Fiend does. The Fiend is another quite aggro boss, and its whole miasma gimmick is that it will spew pools of miasma that it will reabsorb to gain a miasmic shield. You do not want that, so the whole gimmick is to stay within the relative position, literally just stand still and dodge. Or in the case of some units, parry out of it. If you've never done this before, I suggest taking your time and trialing it out once or twice to get a handle of it, then go for your real attempt. Better to measure twice before cutting once. But for the budget players out there, you might feel a bit stuck. See, the boss is quite reliant on you attacking with attribute anomalies, preferably physical or ether, and cannot be frozen, which is the unfortunate reality of all 3 of these bosses actually. Yet, you can still inflict Shatter, which is still applying all the relative buffs, and using a budget team of Piper and Sakaku, I've seen get clears, but with this current DA buff not being as strong as it was in previous, when we were also given a 20% physical bonus for Piper, man, I suggest having literally any premium anomaly or anomaly adjacent character, such as Jshoea, in order to help clear this boss. Here's a showcase of the premium squad with the Swimsuit Gang, Alice, Vivian, and Jshoea. These 3 are able to tackle this boss with ease, and unfortunately with the HP inflation and lesser buffs, your scores are gonna see a dip, but don't worry as your performance still should be strong enough to warrant a 3-star clear. Other options can range from swapping out the anomaly agents. We've had great success with the Yanagi, Janes, and because it's less physical shield, yes, even Miyabi, as long as you're playing towards the 6 stacks of anomaly before the stun window and get to set stun window swiftly before the turn of the forced miasma phase. Yet don't leave out the rupture units, as Yishen can actually clear the boss with the help of Lucia bringing in the veil to activate the DA buff. Previously, the rupture buff could be fully accessed without the veil. Yet, of course, we are here in the present with 2 characters in Lucia and Yidhari who can put up said veil. So it's just a bit messed up of a situation all around. But if you're smart enough, you're going to be able to tackle this boss quite easily, as the 5,000 points is almost gifted to you. Talking about gifts, the Defiler comes in with an easier 5k gimmick as well. Now, amongst the many narratives around the Defiler, we've now, after a whole month of tackling the Damimami, found out ways to circumvent the attribute restriction. Most folks with a strong rupture and attack lead have found great success against this boss, and with a solid stunner behind, you'll be able to get your 3 stun windows as promised. Let's start off with the boss's larger-than-life attacks, as the piercing screeches don't already telegraph them. She has big windups for you to settle in your assists or dodge counters. Here with my premium Sambi team, I try to make sure I'm dodge countering as much as possible, as I'm driving a bunch of the aftershocks from Trigger and Orphe, yet I'm applying the most amount of days through Sambi's strong dodge counter days multipliers. If you're running an Eve comp or any other rupture option, plan accordingly to how to best stun the Defiler, as she is a lot less aggro than your other 2 stages. Then after the first stun, or if you take too long before your first stun, you'll get to the first gimmick, the aerial attacks. These will have her shoot up into the air to slash at you, but just time the assist any time this century, and you should be able to parry off the first slash and the third slash. Make sure to face the Defiler here to best aim said slash back at her, and this will grant you the max 5,000 performance points, easy peasy. Then with another scream, the Defiler will transition to the dreaded rock phase, which no one likes a guaranteed KO attack, but having a strong attacker or rupture can burst the rock. If you are running the occasional mono electric, just unload EX special, as those should be heavy enough to crack the stone, just like Tanjiro in season 1. Then after, there is a third phase whereby the Defiler will fly up into the air. That'll show up just after the second big miasma phase. Unload support ults like that of Trigger or Lighter before this happens, because with the wall of soldiers, you can gain back said bonuses to push for a third stun. Then, after it's about a race to the finish line, get to your third stun window and wrap up the stage with your last 3 stars to make it a whole 9 for your deadly assault. And just to cover our bases, budget comps revolved around using a strong support core. So even a Korin and Trigger, a Monitor Soldier with a Jufufu or Lighter can help clear. If you're using all budget options, just make sure to have their best drives and W engines you can to ensure 3 stun windows. If you can do that and get the performance points, more than likely you can see yourself getting a 20k plus score. If you guys would love more ZZZ variety content as well as more tips and tricks on how to game, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're blazing our way to 30k and I would love to get there by the end of the year. And if you have any more questions, make sure to head on over to our Twitch channel over at twitch.tv/Jshoea. It's your boy Jaws, thanks so much for watching, and happy deadly assaulting, folks.